Hey, I'm Bill Meeks, and you're probably wondering, what are Hocking Hills scripts? Hocking Hills scripts are TV pilots and screenplays I'm writing that follow 3 simple rules. 1. Set the story in the fictional town of Hocking Hills, Ohio, which is based on the little town where I grew up. 2. Include a connection to the 1990s in plot, setting, character, or theme, since I've explored nostalgia and our relationship to it ever since I took a playwriting class back in college. And finally, the main conflict should involve an identity crisis for the protagonist or protagonists with an S, since I've gone through several myself. So you're probably wondering, why is he writing all this stuff right now? Well, to explain that, let me explain my history. I wrote one play back in college called Death of the Pop Culture King, which started exploring the relationship that my generation has with pop culture and nostalgia. After school, I moved to Los Angeles, where one screenplay got me a manager, and that manager got me an option on another screenplay. For reasons I'm not going to get into, I had to leave Los Angeles. But since I've come back east, I've written novels, nonfiction books, hundreds of podcast outlines, 2 seasons of a sketch comedy podcast, and thousands of training and community-based videos for companies like AT&T and Hearst Television. I've also spent the past 2 years studying and performing improv comedy here in Orlando, Florida to sharpen my skills. This year I set a goal to build my brand as a writer to either get representation or get a job in a writer's room. So as an unintended side effect of creating these rules for myself, I've actually created this shared universe with characters and locations and concepts that are starting to cross over between all the scripts. In fact, I'm even coming up with characters in one script that I love so much, I go ahead and give them their own spin-off script. I'm launching this online portfolio of my writing with 3 scripts. The first is called The Coffee Shop, and it's a half-hour single-camera comedy about a coffee shop that serves as the hangout spot for a ragtag collection of punks dealing with the highs and lows of teenage life. Next up, The Last Chance Detective Agency is an hour-long dramedy about a kid detective who never grew up. When his former partner returns to Hocking Hills, they uncover a conspiracy reaching back to their childhood. And finally, very special is a spoof on 90s sitcoms where one aspect of the situation changes every episode. I keep calling it Too Many Cooks, the series. Visit HockingHillsScripts.com right now to read all 3 scripts, and keep an eye out later in the week for individual videos where I go into a little bit more detail about each one of these stories. Now, I'm putting these out there to advertise myself, but I'm also always open to feedback, especially if you see any typos. You can go ahead and hit me up at bill@billmeeks.com with any thoughts you have on the projects. I'm Bill Meeks, and I sincerely hope you enjoy your trip to Hocking Hills.